Hey bunnies, welcome to a little bit of a different video. I've seen other few YouTubers doing this, so I was like, hey, let's just give it a shot. So this is, I think it's a Myers-Briggs personality test. I kind of think of them, like you don't need to put much into them, but it is very much like a Hogwarts house sorting type thing, but with less leading questions. Like in like a Hogwarts questionnaire you would have, if someone wronged you, would you duel them or poison them like a sneaky snake? Whereas with this, it's less like specific to different houses and more like you answer the questions and then it chooses, which is something that I feel like those ones definitely should have used to determine them. Don't put much stock into these. Like if you're looking at someone else or if you're doing your own, don't put too much stock into it, and it will change. If you do it like in a few months afterwards, you will definitely notice a difference. But it's still kind of fun. I guess let's get started. I'll try to answer it as accurately as I can. Okay, so you enjoy vibrant social events with lots of people. I would say you just complete disagree. I'm kind of in the middle of these, I would say. Maybe I should have gone that one in that case, but I don't know. You often spend time exploring unrealistic yet intriguing ideas. I think that's probably a very high thing. I always talk about my ideas that I'm probably not gonna be able to do. Like I probably don't have the funds or the kind of resources to get them done, and I'm also not driven enough to actually get them done, but I like to think about them often. So probably actually like a full agree. Your travel plans are more likely to look like a rough list of ideas than a detailed itinerary. Yes, probably like a here, because I do like some kind of itinerary, but definitely mostly rough list of ideas. I hate when they have itineraries in vacations and things. It makes me stressed, and if I'm in a vacation I want to be relaxing, so I would have a rough list of like, you know, maybe I want to see this place, but I won't have a date for it. It'll just be like, that's on the agenda at some point in the future. You often think about what you should have said in a conversation long after it has taken place. Yeah, that's probably a here. I was actually mentioning to my girlfriend when we were watching someone else do this on YouTube that we watched, because they were saying like sometimes it pops up in their head that they've just remembered a conversation from like years and years and years ago, and that happens to me all the time. It's not necessarily that it's on my mind constantly, it's just like it'll pop up in my head and I just can't stop thinking about it for like a day, and then I'll forget it existed again. It's weird. I guess it's like it's pushed deep down, so my brain doesn't think about it. If your friend is sad about something, your first instinct is to support them emotionally, not try to solve their problem. I think my first instinct is probably to try and solve their problem. It's my go-to thing. Directly after I attempt that, I usually go straight for the emotionally stuff, but I think my first attempt is always to try and solve the problem. People can rarely upset me. I will put that on like a very low agree. Every so often someone can get the upsetting, but it's not easy. You often rely on other people to be the ones to start a conversation and keep it going. Yeah, that's 100% agree. I'm very bad at starting conversations. I'm very bad at keeping conversations going. I kind of have to rely on other people. I was shy as a child for like most of it. I wouldn't talk to teachers, I wouldn't talk to other students most of the time. The only people I would actually be comfortable talking to would be like the 5 or so group of friends that I'd hang around with constantly. I'm not good at conversations. You have to temporarily put your plans on hold. You make sure it is your top priority to get back on track as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I don't. It's definitely not something that I do a lot. I need to get better at that, honestly. You really worry if you make a good impression on someone you met. Like a light disagree. I worry a little bit. You know, you never want to be hated, but like I'm not like it doesn't haunt my dreams kind of thing. It's just like, yeah, I hope that they thought that I went okay. It would be a challenge for you to spend the whole weekend all by yourself without feeling bored. Disagree. Strong disagree. I could spend weeks by myself. It says, I'm assuming that's with like entertainment, like video games, shows and stuff, as in like if I was just alone regularly, right? That's definitely, I could do that forever. Like I don't know about anyone else, but like I don't need to converse at all. In fact, I haven't talked to anyone except my girlfriend for the past months or so, except for like the 1 or 2 times that I've had to go for like another kind of bulk buy for the shopping, isolating and stuff like that. You're more of a detail oriented than a big picture person. So that's like you have the plans to get to the big picture, and one person's like, oh, what is my goal at the end? The detail oriented would be the person trying to reach the goal, and the big picture would be like, that's the goal, and then just try and work towards it without kind of like a list, I guess. So I'm probably more of a big picture person. I think of like the goal before the details before it. So probably like that, I reckon. You have a careful and methodical approach to life. No, strong disagree. I'm just winging it. You're still bothered by the mistakes you made a long time ago. See, it's a different question, but it's very similar to the one like, do you think about things that in the past? One, bothered by the mistakes I made a long time ago, probably less. But I think I answered like a really strong on the last one. Well, no, I think I answered like a 2. No, I might have answered the same one actually. But I think I'm gonna go here. Like every so often it kind of comes up, but it's definitely not a common thing that I'm bothered by them. At parties and similar events, you can mostly be found further away from the action. It honestly depends on the kind of party, for sure, but most times I'm kind of away from it, just chilling by myself, or with, you know, a puppy or a cat. Because if there's a puppy or a cat, they're 10 times better than any person that you can meet at a party, for sure. You often find it difficult to relate to people who let their emotions guide them. Disagree. I have a weird kind of like, I'm very emotional in my brain. I have emotions guiding me, but I don't show that. So like, you know, in the last few questions where it was like, do you try and fix a problem before you try and fix people's emotions? I always try to go for the logical approach, but I'm very emotional. I'm a very emotional person, but my response is always to try and fix things with logic before I let the emotions deal with me. Because emotional thinking often gets me, it just messes up the situation for me most times. When looking for a movie to watch, you can spend ages browsing the catalog. I actually like strong disagree. I pick movies very quickly because I just kind of go, okay, that sounds like an interesting thing. Let's watch it, see if it's any good. Even if like reviews are bad, because sometimes reviews don't reflect necessarily my reception of a movie. I can't think of any at the moment, but there's a lot of movies that I've seen very bad reviews of, and I watched it and I'm like, I love this. So I don't know. Reviewers just have a different opinion to me. You can stay calm under a lot of pressure. Strong disagree. If you've watched my Call of Duty streams, you know that's not a fact. When you agree with people you do not know, you have no problem jumping right into their conversation. Strong disagree. No way I've ever jumped into someone's conversation that I don't know. I would be severely out of place and probably get real stressed real quickly. When you sleep, your dreams tend to be bizarre and fantastical. I don't dream often, and it's usually like a 50-50 split between fantastical and just kind of regular. There's the standard like teeth falling out dreams that people have, falling down holes, all that crazy stuff. By the way, I've had both of those dreams more than once. The teeth falling out and the falling into the like falling backwards. And apparently, according to like dream psychoanalysts or whatever they're called, they both of those dreams are supposed to be about me, like about the person thinking that they're losing control of their life, which is interesting to me that I've had both of these dreams multiple times, and that's what they think it means. But yeah, I think it's probably like a light, say in the middle, but like probably less bizarre most of the time. In your opinion, it is sometimes okay to step on others to get ahead in life. I would say the strong-ish disagree. There is a very slim kind of reason that it's okay. I would say like if someone's intentionally pushing you back, then I feel like it's okay to kind of get ahead of these people, like intentionally like screwing you over in life, right? And that's the only way to like kind of get ahead is to step on them. I feel like that is the only time that it's necessary. If it's like a friend or something and it's the only way to get ahead that way, I feel like that's wrong. But if they're intentionally in your way in life, maybe it's okay. I don't know. You are dedicated and focused on your goals, only rarely getting sidetracked. Strong disagree. Maybe like a little bit off the full disagree because the goals are always in my head. I always have these goals that I want to do. I'm just very slow at doing them, and it's not like I'm getting sidetracked exactly, but like there's a lot of things that I kind of like try and do at once, and it ends up meaning all of them are half done, but like they're still there. They're still ready to go. I don't have like a set goal for all of them though, is the thing. Like there's nothing that I'm like, I need to do this one. This is my end goal. So I can't be focused on my goals if I don't really have one, but I don't know. I've kind of got a few goals and I am swapping between them rather than getting sidetracked in my mind. If you make a mistake, you tend to start doubting yourself, your abilities, or your knowledge. I always doubt myself, my abilities, or my knowledge regardless if I make a mistake, but I'm gonna put that at like a strong-ish disagree, strong agree. You usually lose interest in a discussion when it gets philosophical. No, probably like a light disagree. I don't hate philosophical discussions. Not sure if I believe in the necessity of them for sure, but it's interesting to hear people's opinions on philosophy, even though I don't really think it's necessary or like matters to me. I'm okay with people discussing the meaning of life and stuff like that, but I never think that I care what it is, you know? You would never let yourself cry in front of others. That is a strong disagree. I have definitely cried in front of others. In fact, I've cried on this YouTube channel. The end of To the Moon, 100% cried. I didn't have a face cam then, so you couldn't see it, but I was definitely bawling at the end. Treasure Planet's like my favorite movie, and I've cried in that multiple times. Borderlands 2 Tiny Tina's Dungeon Assault ending. I've cried at that more than once with people watching. You feel more drawn to places with a bustling and busy atmosphere than to more quiet and intimate ones. So I'm gonna actually put that in like a kind of agree in the middle. I don't mind background noise. I don't like being a bustling, busy person. I like being a quiet person in a bustling, busy place. So like I'm okay with going to like a packed coffee shop. I think because I'm kind of like shy in my real life kind of thing, I feel like the bustling and busy atmosphere helps with that because I feel like I'm not noticed. I feel like I'm hidden in hidden in the background of everyone else. If it's quiet and intimate, usually that means that if you say something, you're the center of attention. And in fact, like I often don't in bustling, busy atmospheres, say if I'm going to like a place, like a you know, like a date or on in a cafe or something, right? And it isn't that loud. I don't like talking. Like I don't like bringing up personal things and talking to someone like that. If I'm in a quiet, intimate area with other people around. So the bustling, busy thing means that I can talk and not have to worry about people caring about me being in their vicinity. I guess I just don't like being in people's way. You like discussing different views and theories on what the world could look like in the future? Oh yeah. I've had plenty of conversations with Ched and Strix about specifically the fact that there are food 3D printers now. Actually, I was talking to Ted recently about that. There are food 3D printers now. We're kind of in this little like middle ground of like, is our technology going to improve to the point where we have, you know, Jetsons level, we make whole meals just get printed out and it's pretty and nice? Or are we getting to the point where you 3D print like goo blocks that you eat, this like dystopian cyberpunk future, right? And we're like we've already got the technology there for kind of both potentially happening. You usually prefer to get your revenge rather than forgive. Like a strong disagree. Sometimes getting revenge is light revenge. Like say if like on like a video game someone was fucking me over, it'd be nice to kind of show them up. The more scary kind of revenges, like eye for an eye type deals with like really scary things, like maybe huge money type deals, or if someone like cuts you off in traffic kind of thing, I would not want to get revenge. I prefer, I don't know the word for it, like karma-esque revenge. Like you're driving somewhere, someone cuts you off or keeps like screwing you over, so you've got to like put on the brakes a ton of times, and then that person gets caught in traffic and you pass them again. That kind of karma is what I like to do for revenge. I think I can always forgive someone, really. There's usually no reason for me to not forgive someone. If you'd like murdered my family, then forgiving is probably off the table. But even if I was like cheated on or something, I obviously wouldn't date the person again. But I would kind of forgive them in the sense that like I wouldn't care anymore. I have like a kind of 50-50 like forgiving versus just forgetting. Whereas like, you know, I'm not forgiving, like they still wronged me. I'm not getting revenge either. I'm just like, okay, we're done kind of thing, you know, with like if a friend does something fucked up, unless they can obviously provide something that would be a reason that I could forgive them. Okay, you often make decisions on a whim. Kind of, like a pretty strong, I guess. I kind of just go with the flow most times. Time you spend by yourself often ends up being more interesting and satisfying than the time you spend with other people. I want to go like a slightly to the agree section, but not by much. I think up ideas and stuff a lot, like in my spare time when I'm alone. And that's interesting and satisfying, like coming up with new ideas for different video game concepts, for different things like that, for different videos on YouTube. Other people are great though, and they often also have cool ideas that can be interesting and kind of like a satisfying way to spend your time talking about those ideas. It's kind of like a 50-50, but I don't like going in the middle. You're not supposed to go in the middle. That's why they've graded out, so you like are less inclined to go in the middle, because that's just like it's a null answer. It's less stuff to your answer. So I think it's probably on slightly agree than disagree, but it's definitely not a strong agree. You often put special effort into interpreting the real meaning of the message of a song or movie. Yes. Depends on the song, but most like metal songs, some metal songs. La Dispute, for instance, I like often look into all of their lyrics because I'm kind of really interested, because they have a lot of lyrics. Like they stuff like a whole freaking novel into each song. And often, like, sometimes it's based on real events, like in the world and that, and I find that interesting. You know, obviously I'm not looking for the lyrical meaning behind Party in the USA or Wrecking Ball. I don't know, the kind of like alternative / metal style songs, I often kind of look into the songs. With movies, I don't watch really artsy movies, so most movies are kind of upfront about their real meaning when I watch them. So I probably don't do that as much with movies, but definitely with songs, I always do that. You rarely think back on the choices you made and wonder what you could have done differently. Yeah, I don't like think back on choices that I've made. Like sometimes things comes back and I'm like, oh, I kind of, you know, that's unfortunate, but I don't kind of think of exactly what I could have done differently. I more think of like, I wonder how that's affected my life so far and how it affects my life in the future, rather than like I wish I could do things differently kind of situation. In a public place, you usually stick to quieter and less crowded areas. Like a slight agree. I do stick to quieter and less crowded areas. Obviously in the last question I did say that like I prefer busier things when I'm trying to kind of be back in the distance, but quieter places are interesting also. I feel like I stick to quieter and less crowded areas. I don't know, it depends on the day, I guess. And like where, like if I'm in a city, I'd want to be in a busier thing. I wouldn't want to go in a city place and there's like a lot of people around me, but then like it's not quiet. I mean, it's not loud. It's not kind of too crowded. It's just enough people to kind of put me on edge. If I'm in a public, like if I'm in like a park or something, I would love to be in a quieter situation where I can just kind of relax, you know, look at the birds and the trees kind of thing. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. I mean, probably like a light disagree. Sometimes I have trouble, but it's not like, you know, I can kind of understand most people's feelings. When starting to work on a project, you prefer to make as many decisions up front as possible. I like weighing up decisions. I like writing down like a list of decisions, but that usually changes. Is that what it means? You prefer to make as many decisions up front? I guess like a low agree. I don't know about that question. It's a weird question. I don't really know how to answer it. When you know someone thinks highly of you, you also wonder how long it will be until they become disappointed in you. So like a strong disagree, it's, you know, sometimes obviously I could probably, you know, that's like a disagree actually. I don't think I've ever been like, I wonder how long it'll be. Cause like there's no one, I've never disappointed exactly someone, I don't think. I've never had a reason to kind of go like, they're going to be disappointed in me. It's more like, you know, maybe I'll fuck up somewhere, but chances are I can kind of make it right. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. Depends on like why I find them interesting, I guess, but like probably a strong disagree most cases. You look after yourself first and others come in second. I would say that's like a strong agree kind of thing. I would like to point out a lot of people get kind of weird about the selfish questions. I've got to say this is not selfish. If you're putting yourself out to help other people in the sense that like you could be in trouble, that's selfish, because you're trying to help someone and then you're going to need help and then they won't have the capabilities to help you. So you're making yourself messed up, and then if they get messed up, you then can't help them again. You want to get yourself into a position where you can help someone without putting yourself out. I feel like everyone should be here, and if you're not, I would say you've got to kind of rethink how you view selfishness and how you view giving, I guess. Give me shit in the comments if you don't agree with that, but I'm pretty adamant about that one. Even when you've planned a particularly daily routine, you usually just end up doing what you feel like at any given moment. Kind of. I like change up my streams and YouTube videos a fair bit, even though I kind of have a schedule set up. Like, I'm currently gaming through Eliza and the Scythe Saga on my channel, but obviously this video is coming up in between that. Like, it depends on the day, and it just kind of swings depending. Spending time in a dynamic atmosphere with lots of people around quickly makes you feel drained and in need of a getaway. Probably like a disagree. It says like a dynamic atmosphere specifically. I said that in like a area where I'm kind of in a busy place, I'm kind of less stressed, but if it's like a party situation and like I'm forced to interact with people that I don't usually talk to, it's the interacting with people that's the draining part. It being busy doesn't matter to me. It's the interaction that is often draining to me because I'm so bad at conversation. It's effort. To converse with someone is a really huge effort for me. I actually have to think about what I'm saying, like really, really hard to actually kind of continue a conversation to the point where they don't think I absolutely hate them because I'm just really bad at it. You find it easy to empathize with a person who has gone through something you never have. I mean, I can kind of put myself into people's situations, so I can kind of empathize with people that way. You know, I have written a fair few things, like if you didn't know, I've written poetry and stuff like that. And I've kind of I enjoy putting my brain into situations that I've never been a part of. A lot of my poetry is like from the perspective of other people, like specifically, like sometimes the protagonist of the poem is like a woman, and I kind of think about what's happening kind of in that situation as opposed to how it would happen in my situation, like as, you know, a white dude. I happily try and empathize with people, and I think that's why I'm a little bit, I can do it a fair bit, but I don't know exactly what the kind of threshold for this is, so maybe I'm actually really shit at it, who knows. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than to organize. Oh, strongly agree. I need the energy. I'm literally living off coffee for most of my day to get me the bursts of energy, because otherwise I'll just feel like shit and sit in bed all day. If I can convince myself to get up and have a drink, have a cup of coffee, that's when like I can get in my day. You always consider how your actions might affect other people before doing something. Kind of like a no. I consider it, but I'm kind of bad at gauging how actions affect other people for sure. So I might say like just a strong disagree there. You still honor the commitments you have made even if you have a change of heart. Most times I would say I do. You rarely feel insecure. I don't think I feel insecure ever, really. I'm pretty confident with, I don't know, like I know when I'm shit, and I am glad to say, like, for instance, when I'm playing Call of Duty, I'm almost 80% of the time I'll be worse than Ched or Strix. I'm talking about Call of Duty a lot because I've been playing it a fair bit, and in that, I'll just say that I'm shit. I'm not as good at them as them, and I could be practicing to be better than them, but I don't want to practice to be better than them, and so I'm just kind of like, I'm confident with my ability on Call of Duty, and I don't feel bad about being worse than them because I know that I'm worse than them. And even like, you know, with my programming, I know I'm bad at programming. I love it. I love doing it, but I'm bad at it. And if a programmer went to my YouTube videos on my programming and said that all of my code is crap and I should chuck it out, I would probably agree with them because I know that my code is not the best and I'm not the best at it. And so I'm not insecure about it. Like, I just know my limits. I never kind of feel like I should lie about my skills. I would say I rarely feel insecure, for sure. Okay, so I'm a mediator, INFPA. Okay, so there's little percentages of like where I am on the kind of leaderboard. So I'm 85% introverted, which I expected that. 62% intuitive versus observant. I'm not really sure what that means. This trait determines how you make decisions and cope with emotions. So I'm 67% feeling as opposed to thinking. That makes sense, I guess. This trait reflects our approach to work, planning, and decision making. So I'm more prospecting than judging. Identity, I'm more assertive than turbulent. The trait underpins all others, showing how confident we are in our abilities and decisions. So mediators are idealists looking for a hint of good in even the worst of people and events, searching for ways to make things better. While they are perceived as calm, reserved, or even shy, mediators have an inner flame and passion that can truly shine. Compromising just 4% of the population, the risk of feeling misunderstood is unfortunately high for the mediator. When they find that like-minded people to spend their time with, the harmony they feel will be a fountain of joy and inspiration. Being a part of the diplomat role group, mediators are guided by principles rather than logic, excitement, or practicability. When deciding how to move forward, they will look to honor, beauty, morality, and virtue. Mediators are led by the purity of their intent, not rewards and punishments. People who share the mediator personality type are proud of this quality, and rightly so, but not everyone understands the drive behind these feelings, and it can lead to isolation. I'm often perceived as all of these things for sure. I'm often misunderstood as far as like emotional things go. For instance, like my shyness is often looked at as hatred or even like criminal-ish kind of thing. A lot of people told me to stop doing what I'm doing because it makes me look suspicious as a kid. A lot of the times, like, I would look down, I would never look at someone's eyes. I think I went to someone at my school to teach me how to look people in the eye because I didn't do it. And it was making people really uncomfortable. And yeah, a lot of people, only not that long ago, a few like last year at work, a workmate's brother came to work for us for like a week or something while he was out. And he actually asked his brother, my workmate, if he thought that I hated him. And I just didn't know how to talk to people. But I came across as actually hating someone. They thought that I did not like them. Misunderstood. I can agree with that. Understanding and creating symbols to share their ideas. Fantasy worlds in particular fascinate mediators more than any other personality type. Famous mediators are poets, writers, and actors. Understanding them, these are like, that's just 3 of the things that I've wanted to do. Game design is obviously on top of the list above those 3, but I've written poetry, I've written stories. I've always wanted to kind of like do some voice acting for my games because I feel like that's, doing voice acting is a really fun thing to kind of tell your story. They have a talent for self-expression. Most people share the diplomat personality types, mediators' ability with languages and stuff with their native tongue. They're considered gifted when it comes to learning a second or third. I'm very bad at learning languages. I've tried to learn like 3 or 4 different ones, and I've just been like, it's been too hard for me, and I've just been like I kind of know a little bit of German, but definitely not enough to actually talk with a German person, for sure. Mediators can lose themselves in their quest for good and neglect the day-to-day upkeep of life that life demands. I mean, like, I answered this question saying that I deal with myself first, so like, don't know about that one. Mediators often drift into deep thought, contemplating. Did I answer these wrong? The hypothetical and philosophical things were definitely things. I mean, I guess I agree with them all most of the time, but like actual philosophical questions I disagreed with most of the time. Withdrawing into hermit mode and can take a great deal of energy from their friends or partners to bring them back. Mediators' affection, creativity, altruism, and idealism will always come back, rewarding them and those they love, perhaps not with logic and utility, but with a worldview that inspires compassion, kindness, and beauty. Okay, apparently these are mediators. Okay, strengths and weaknesses, I guess. My strengths are idealistic. Mediators' friends will admire and depend on them for optimism. Their belief that all people are inherently good lends itself to an incredibly resilient attitude in the face of hardship. I feel like people are inherently good, and it's just bad situations that cause people to be bad, for sure. Sometimes it's bad choices by the person. Like, I was talking like yesterday, watching like a documentary on like Ted Bundy kind of stuff, and well, not a documentary, like a YouTuber was talking about it, and they said like they believe that people can be born evil, and they talked about Ted Bundy being born evil. They also mentioned that Ted Bundy's grandfather exhibited very similar traits to Ted Bundy and was basically raised him for a lot of his life. So that's a learned behavior. He wasn't born evil, he learned that from his grandfather, as far as I can tell, based on the evidence we have. And a lot of people seem to have the similar thing. They learn. So, like, apparently his grandfather actually, like, killed little, like, animals and stuff in front of him. And if you see someone murdering something as a child, perhaps you have a lot less kind of care about murder kind of things. And then that ends up with you doing a bad thing because your brain's now wired differently because you've faced that as a child. So you can value harmony. Mediator personality types have no interest in having power over others and don't much care for domineering attitudes at all. a democratic approach and work hard to ensure that every voice and perspective is heard. Yeah, I agree with that. Open-minded and flexible. A live and let live attitude comes naturally to mediators, and they dislike being constrained by rules. Yeah, no, 100%. Very creative mediators combine their visionary nature with other open-mindedness to allow them to see things from unconventional perspectives. I like seeing things from unconventional perspectives, however, I wouldn't say I'm very creative. Passionate and energetic. When something captures their imagination and speaks to their beliefs, they go all in, dedicating their time, energy, and thought and emotions to the project. Actually, a lot of people get like really scared when this shy person that doesn't speak at all suddenly talks when it's something I enjoy. Even I think my mum mentioned it at one point. I don't talk that often, but like if I'm talking about video games to her, I will not shut up until she forces me to. They set themselves up for disappointment because of all the I don't believe that anyone's perfect, and I don't believe that everyone is good. I don't believe people are like people have the capacity for good. That doesn't mean they are. That means that they deserve a chance always. Mediators sometimes see themselves as selfish, but only because they want to give so much more than they are able to. This becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They try to push themselves to commit to a chosen. I don't know. If anyone's doing that, I think that's scary. Like that's really dangerous for you. Though intelligent, the regimented learning style makes long years earning an advanced degree a formidable undertaking for people with a mediator. At the same time, it's often what's needed. No, the career path thing is... Basically, I can't do the thing I need to do the thing that I need to do. I've always considered like getting into kind of like learning and putting work forward, and then getting into like a freelancing kind of position while I make my own stuff, and then freelancers on the side. Because I have such bad habits where it comes to communication, I kind of need to be alone type things, and I can type more effectively than I can talk because I stutter. I mean, you've watched my YouTube videos, surely you know by now. To mediators, if it isn't worth doing, it isn't really worth doing, and the sense of moral purpose in their work colors everything from how they respond to authority to how they express it. I can kind of agree with that. Mediators prefer latitude and would much rather immerse themselves in a project alone or with a team than simply be told what tasks to do and move on. That's 100%. When it comes to games and stuff, I like getting simple tasks. I've tried, for instance, like with my programming videos, you can see I've written down tasks to do, but you notice I keep getting sidetracked. That's because of this. I like to go, okay, this is the task I need to accomplish. I'll just keep going on it. The tasks that I've written end up just growing and growing and growing, and I never end up finishing the task that I've started with, kind of thing. It's definitely an issue that I have. Okay, so the conclusion. A few personality types are as poetic and kind-hearted as mediators. Their altruism and vivid imagination allows them to overcome challenging obstacles. More often than not, brightening lives of those around them. Mediators' creativity is invaluable in many areas, including personal growth. Yet they can easily be tripped up in areas where idealism and altruism are more of a liability than an asset. So that's like, I'm never going to be a lawyer. Whether it is finding or keeping a partner, making friends, reaching dazzling heights on the career ladder, or planning for the future, mediators need to put in a conscious effort to develop their weaker traits and additional skills. Okay, so this doesn't matter to me. You can do a premium profile, which is, I guess, like a bigger insight on the thing, and maybe there's more questions. I don't really know. Yeah, but that's interesting. So I am a mediator, an IFPA, a diplomat, and a confident individualism is my strategy and my role as a diplomat, apparently. Please like write your results in the comments, and maybe like a little bit about like what the difference is. If you're a mediator like me, maybe just go, hey, we're the same person, or even just do the test. I know there's a few YouTubers that like watch my videos from time to time, and it'd be nice to see your guys' reactions to kind of the questions and your results as, friends. It's interesting because I've seen a lot of people kind of go, hang on, this isn't me, when they've been finishing this test, but I felt like most of this was definitely, I answered this as accurately as I could, and it seems to have paid off because most of this feels like me. Some of it is a bit off. So I will see you in the next video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed, and check out my other videos where I'm currently playing through the Eliza visual novel, and we're trying to play through the Scythe Saga.